that I swear my little eye. Andor, Cassian Andor, talk about Andor, Cassian Andor. He's a rebel spy, super bad friend. Give you a hug at the very end. Make that man feel like 100. He's the Rogue One for me. K2SO, he's not in the show. Is he a fish or a thief? He's Cassian Andor, Cassian Andor, Cassian Andor.
With MakingStarWars.net.
Please like me. Please like my show and like me. Please. I need friends. How's it going, everybody? I'm just a word from MakingStarWars.gov, and this is Roberto, back from the dead. He has risen. I was a giant stone, and I rolled it by this cave, and then he came out, and he was like, praise me. And I was like, okay. I need friends. Like my show. Like the button, hit the like button, lick it, subscribe to the channel and all that stuff. Become a channel member, give us your money, brother. Please, please, please. Because what you have to understand, right now is that the man is trying to take us down, trying to destroy us, trying to not let you get the newest Star Wars news that you need in your YouTube feed. And we are here to try and overcome. So anyways, we're talking about some bullshit today. Mostly bullshit, won't lie to you. But it's fun. If you're following Star Wars every day, it's fun. And, we got sticks, we got stones, we got some dirt, we got some grass. Not the kind you could smoke either, just the kind that you look at and don't water if you live in Southern California because there's a drought and you can't anymore. Everybody's house out here looks like it's a foreclosure. That's fun because they are. But, oh yeah, guess what? Last night, I tried to take my kid to get some ice cream at the drugstore, right? At Rite Aid. It's like they have Thrifty's ice cream there, but for some reason, you can't buy Thrifty's ice cream anywhere now. It's like all like boxed up and stuff. Something's going on. Look what I found. Look at this shit I saw in the wild. The only DVD quality copy of Solo in the world. So I was pretty happy about that. I don't know. For some reason, it just made me laugh. If it wasn't $9.99, I would have bought it, But I'm not spending $10 on a 480p copy of Solo. But anyways, yeah. So we got a little bit of Acolyte news up front. Should we get to the spoilers first? The general gist of it. If Ashoka shows up, we could ask him more questions if we have any. And then we'll go over his answers if he's here. He might not be. I don't know. Sometimes Ahsoka's is like, I'm watching you. I know everything you said. And then other times he's like in the chat, just like talking. I don't know. So anyways, he says that Acolyte's filming right now. That it is already filming and it's filming in the volume. So there you go. Right. And then it says, no, we can't. I don't know. Do we hate the volume? I mean, is it? I think we don't like when it's all volume all the time. But like the volume itself is, it can be. It just depends on how that tool is used. It's just like your wife was telling you. What? What about the shampoo and the volume? In your hairline. So, anyways, they're filming scenes in the volume, and they aren't 100% on locations yet. Goes on to say that location filming begins in late October and November, and volume filming should begin within a few weeks, month. So are they filming or not? I'm a little confused, but I'm sure they're probably doing volume tests. They're probably like not really truly filming the show. I could be wrong. We need to hear it from them firsthand. And they messaged me when I woke up saying, "Hey, I did some tweets," and I was like, "Oh, I appreciate that." And so one candidate for location filming is Northern Scotland, Caithness. I don't know. Is it Caithness? Caithness? I don't know. I mean, what if it's Loch Ness? What if Andor is going to show up in this series? He goes through a time portal and he has to find the Loch Ness monster. And it turns out that Nessie was Andor's rebel friend the whole time. That could happen. And then it talks a little bit about if you remember on Friday, he was teasing that there was going to be something we saw in the animated series that would be in this show, and it's Malachor. And I'm happy about that. Malachor was George Lucas's Sith planet, and but it was all full of like ruins, like temples, like pyramids and shit, like that were like ruined. And Yoda goes there and sees the ghost of Sifo-Dyas, I think. Wasn't that the one where does he go there and see? I know he sees a premonition of Bane, but then I think he sees like something that was going on with Sifo-Dyas, but I might be wrong. I need to watch the series again. It's been a couple of years since I've seen those episodes. But the Acolyte stands in front of that temple in some concept art or something. And there's a snow planet with a snowstorm, which there always is at this point, because a bunch of people saw The Empire Strikes Back and were like, everything has to be snow, so everybody felt like it's The Empire Strikes Back. That was J.J. Abrams' take on everything, pretty much. And in the concept art, always snow. I think he used snow? He used snow in both of his movies. Yeah, he did. He did use snow in both of his films. So let's take a left turn really quickly to something. Oh no, I'm a background character in an Adam Sandler movie. Yeah, we're all AI, and that's what I am. Meg also says late October in England equals Burr. Wait, are you teasing Bill Burr from Star Wars The Mandalorian is going to be in this one too? Maybe through the same time portal that Andor goes through to meet Nessie? I like how we could just come up with one piece of bullshit and start building everything on it. Like that's how you do it on the internet. Because Disney Plus Day is coming in 30 days. So if anybody has any ideas about what's going to be coming out, I think there's going to be a show called Robot Leia. 6-year-old robot Leia is turned into a robot by a mad inventor who always wanted a daughter but couldn't have children. But then he dies and she's asleep and wakes up 1,000 years later, but then goes to live with the family living on Coruscant. But they can't let people know that she's a robot because battle droids have been outlawed in the future of Star Wars. Uh-oh. Coming to Disney Plus. Watch certain guys go, yep, when that comes out, because they always knew it was true. Hey, Rick Jones, post-production visual effects are better, higher resolution, clearer than the volume. That's true. That is true. Snow is better than sand. Arya, I'll see your point and add it to the record. As the truth says, more plausible than Mike Zero. I don't know what's going to happen when Mike Zero, when like the universe like hits that universal lottery and like everything he just says for like a streak just all happens just to accidentally be true. It's gonna be fun. Al says maybe they'll drop Tales of the Jedi on Disney Plus along with the public releases of the teasers of The Mandalorian Season 3 and Ahsoka, a new trailer for that, and The Bad Batch, and Episode 10, and George Lucas's original scripts for Episode 7. And I gotta be honest with you, I think Disney Plus Day is about shit that's basically in the bag. So to some extent, like anything is possible on that front. Al, but I don't expect really anything. D23 is coming. That's a bigger event than this Disney Plus Day, and they got to save stuff for that. I mean, if they were going to go too far into the future, I mean, they're starting to film skeleton crew with the cast. Maybe they'll announce the cast. I mean, that seems like it's possible that they could show like Jude Law and the cast of little Rugrats that they got in the parts. I mean, it's possible, but I wouldn't. I feel like Andor's hitting. They might show some of that, but also don't forget too that there's shows that Willow's supposed to be a 2022 show, and we haven't heard a fucking thing from it. So I wouldn't be surprised if on one hand they end up deciding to disappoint everybody by having everybody watch it to see the Star Wars stuff, and then it'd be like a Willow thing. That could happen. I would be happy. I would be happy. I'm as excited for Willow as I am, let's say, Skeleton Crew. You know, because I know I like Willow. You know, Willow is a great movie with Mad Mardigan. He doesn't have magic, but here's the crazy thing: Willow does. Right? That's crazy, right? You fucking didn't see it coming. He has magic and he doesn't have magic. What? So Disney Plus new sub $5 with ads. Yeah, they are supposed to be announcing something like that. You know what's funny was I was like looking up something. I was like watching the Pistol, the Sex Pistols show that we have on Hulu over here, and I was like reading this article, and at the end of the article, it's all Pistol is on Disney Plus because it's on Disney Plus in Europe because they're like they drink wine. I don't know why, but I thought that was neat because it's so weird over here. What else we got? Marvel announced a lot at SDCC. Wonder what's left for D23. I'm gonna guess like I don't really follow the Marvel shit, but I have gone to D23 before, and I remember seeing like for instance the entirety of the elevator sequence from the Winter Soldier one time. They like showed the when he gets in and he fights those guys, and I was like, whoa, that movie looks badass. I actually went and saw the movie because of seeing it there, and so they're going to show a bunch of exclusive clips and footage that they won't release to the internet, that they never would, you know, things that are they're kind of like selling stuff, but to some extent just trying to get word of mouth out to the converted who will go out and not stop talking about it. But at D23 shit does not leak in terms of video because they have it like worked out where like they have like one person per like I'm going to guess 75 people or so. Like, yeah, actually, it's really, really tight. For some reason, at Star Wars conventions, they don't, I guess, want to pay. So they have a volunteer staff that tries to do it, but always fails. That's why we have like 5 trailers of every single Mando, Ahsoka, and everything else trailer. So Rogue Squadron is completely scratched. I don't know. I am not really holding my breath on it. I don't even know personally, just to be honest. I don't know if I care about a Patty Jenkins movie in general, let alone a Patty Jenkins Star Wars movie. You know, I'm up for a Rogue Squadron movie. Maybe Patty Jenkins could make it. I always say the last thing that somebody made is kind of irrelevant to what you're going to get when it comes to Star Wars. They may really make the best thing they've ever made, or you know, crap. The last thing that somebody made isn't really indicative of the next thing with art and or Star Wars or that system. So, but it's definitely not the next Star Wars movie when it was supposed to be, and I would not be surprised if it's sort of backburnered, so to speak, as time goes on, and as they start to see what their needs are in the future. Because, like WB, for instance, is going to be going hard in the future on cinematic releases. And the guy who they got running it sounds, I mean, he's either a genius or a fucking moron. I have no idea. It's gonna like shake out where people are gonna be like, you're a fucking moron or you were a fucking genius. And to me it sounded more like moron, but I don't know anything. I don't run multinational entertainment corporations, so what do I know? But we'll see. But is Rogue One scratched? I'm going to say it's better to probably just pretend like it is. And then if we hear any positive news, go, oh, okay. I mean, realistically, that's probably the healthiest perspective. Rob, the sequel is better than the prequel. That'll make him speak up. Uh-oh. How many episodes will Ahsoka consist of? How long is each episode? I think they're going to be like just like the Mandalorian. I think everything in that Mandalorian like universe is going to be around the same thing. Boba Fett broke convention. What was Boba Fett? Was it 8 episodes? I mean 7 episodes? And Mando's 8? I can't remember now. But I would just expect it to be around 8 episodes, around 45 minutes. And just because I know it'll go there next. The Andor episodes are in the high 39s to the mid 40s. Like, you know what I mean, in terms of minutes. So yeah, that's it's always like gonna be like the same window. I wouldn't ever, let's put it this way, it would be a news story if a TV show was coming out and there were 22 minute episodes, 22-minute episodes live action, or if they were over an hour. Both of those things would be their own unique stories. So just always expect them to be around the same time. So you can buy Solo on DVD. Oh yeah, I saw this guy the pistols thing. That guy would make a great young Han Solo. They should get him to play Han Solo. Just throwing it out there. He's got the hair, you know what I mean? He pulls it off, and yeah, you can do it. It was a good Steve Jones too. The pistol show's pretty good. Really makes a lot of out of the Chrissy Hines thing though. That's not really true, but it was good though. So went down to the set, to the Ahsoka set. Grab some of these pictures. Has Jason noticed that Rob hasn't spoken yet? Who's Rob? You're seeing ghosts. Yeah. So, anyways, I just found this to be slightly interesting. That's all Navarro set stuff. They are saving it. They took the Navarro sets and they have them all under like these tarps here. Sometimes it takes them a long time to dispose of things on set, or to move them or pack them away or whatever, and it could simply be that. But these all got moved out and, like I said, covered in tarps, and they've been that way. So that just, I don't know, they could repurpose it, but it also might mean that there might be more filming on Mando coming, or it might be just indicative that we're going back to Navarro somewhere in some other show, in the Ahsoka series. I mean, anything is possible. So that's just like more of a food for thought, as is most of these pictures. Like I said, not the most exciting things, but what I wanted to show you was that they clearly made a forest of some kind, and they brought back a lot of the trees from the Ahsoka episode of The Mandalorian, where, you know, she kills Morgan Elsbeth or whatever, or might have killed her, probably killed her, we don't know. And but there was a lot of tree stuff for what it's worth. So there's some kind of forest in Ahsoka. And if you guys remember, a few weeks ago, I had a picture of a night shoot that I took from the Ahsoka series. And that set was built from my vantage point at 9 o'clock on the clock. Okay. 9 o'clock. It's now been moved to the 3 o'clock position and turned around. And so you can't see it now. They really like kind of have it tucked away, but it's still there. I could tell by a couple of the fixtures on the side that it was in fact the same set. So I find it a little bit, I don't know, just interesting that whatever that thing is, it's important enough to keep up, and it's still up. So look at all these trees. Look at this. It's a forest, little forest. Oh look, I'm Ahsoka. I'm in the forest. Oh, where's Anakin? Is his ghost here? You know, you never know, right? So more tree parts, the burned tree parts. Yeah, you know. And it was kind of fun because they had a lot of the stuff hidden behind tarps and shit, but it was so windy, everything was blowing off, and I can see it, like right here. And then this is just to more prove that that is basically a huge lot right now, giant blue screen set up around it, and I guess that's it. But yeah, you know, like I said, not the most exciting pictures of all time or anything like that, but thank you, Meg. I've been working on it. I've been taking some like improv classes and stuff. They're like, Jason, like, what do you want to learn here? And I was like, well, mostly Rosario Dawson. I want to be just like her on YouTube. I want to be the Rosario Dawson of YouTube. No. But Rosario Dawson said something, and boy, did this set the internet on fire. Oh, when you guys hear this one, oh boy, let's get 13,000 articles out of this one. You guys ready? Hold on to your set your pants to shit. Hold on to your butts, Rob.
But Dave saw one of the episodes already edited together, and he walked up, him and Carrie Beck, like both like glossy-eyed, and he said to me that it was a religious experience.
Yeah. So, anyways, somebody saw their own show and called it a religious experience. Cool. A lot of people are asking, what is that? What does it mean? What does it mean? I mean, realistically, what it is that they went and they created a show called The Clone Wars and everybody fucking hated it. And then now here they are, like, half a decade and a half later, and they're doing a live action show and is happy as to how it's coming out. And he's like, wow, like that, this is amazing for me. And so a religious experience, I don't think is necessary, or is indicative of the quality of the show or how amazing it's going to rock your face off. I think that's a personal thing for Filoni. That's truly like my read on it. It makes sense, if you created a character and then now you're doing a series about her in live action. I mean, that's got to be wild, right? So I don't know. It's, to me, it's such a big, yeah, exactly. It's like what Thrawn confirmed. It has to be as a true. That's all it could be. And then Meg says, Clone Wars Rebels is where it's at. Meg, agree to disagree. Agree to disagree. Where is Nikki? Oh, there's Nikki. Nikki, shocking. Dave has a disturbing Ahsoka fetish. If you don't, why are you here? No, how's it? I don't mean you, Nikki. I mean, it's mean in general. But yeah. I think maybe today my streak of negativity is going to be in line with Nikki. I think for the first time, me and Nikki might be like, bullshit. This is some Star Wars bullshit. Star Wars Meg says the Clone Wars ruined all of the Jedi from the prequels. The Clone Wars ruined all the Jedi from the prequels. Did it though? I mean, because I don't know, man. You ever hear Ayla Secura with the French accent? Come on. That's fun. Yeah, Matt says she said they needed to call in the Scarlet Witch to help them find Thrawn. So yeah, like I said, we're in a little bit of a slow Star Wars couple of days. And so I think everybody's like, oh my God, look at this article. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, when somebody sent me the quote, I like Googled the quote and make sure it was real and to find like the source of it and everything. Oh yeah, let's not be a jerk. The source of the video was from The Laughing Place. Ha 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 on Twitter at The Laughing Place. So no, but I do appreciate them taking the video. Thank you. I just stole it though. I don't care. Fucking thief. Star Wars Meg said Kit Fisto, Deep Voice, Chadikin, Ayla, etc. Yeah. It is a little bit weird when you watch, like, you guys ever watch like a bunch of Clone Wars and then like you watch the movie or something and you're like, why does he sound different? It does kind of happen. It does happen to my ear holes, Ayla with that French accent was pretty fire, says Roland New. I agree. I don't know. It's kind of weird because like what Meg is saying is like the Clone Wars fixed the Jedi for more people than ruined it compared to the prequels. That was the one where people were like, oh, I like Anakin now. It did. They made him more of a hero and more heroic and that kind of stuff. My own looking back on the Clone Wars overall, like I said, I love that show. My only thing is that you could tell they knew they were competing with the superhero genre on television. And so there's a little bit of like, come on, Ahsoka. Like there's a little bit of that kind of like timbre in the voice. I don't know. But that kind of does go away later on once they move away from it. And May, you're allowed to have an unpopular take. I actually appreciate those more, to be honest. Star Wars makes us, oh, I know my take is unpopular. Tells of the Jedi is about to do more. Here's every second off screen from the prequels. Yeah. But I'm excited about that. Like my thing with like the animated shows and stuff is like I would prefer them to go and to do the things that are important to Star Wars, but that are never going to happen in live action. Like they were never going to do that Dooku story. I wish they would, but they were never going to. And so like, you know, seeing that on screen is more important to me than like, I don't know, Battle at Bakura. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh boy, Ahsoka was really tested in that arc, but she's really growing up. She's gonna be a great Jedi someday. Like that kind of shit. Kind of like it's kind of just like I don't know, it's a treadmill. Because you could look at me, I don't like treadmills. Chris says most people don't realize that diversity in film is subsidized by billions in ESG capital funds allocated to diverse and inclusive corporations only. Cool. I hope I could get some of that money. Roland says that's a good point that Star Wars make. You feel like they're filling in too much. Yeah, it is. I do wonder, like when we get about 20 years out, everything that George ever implied will probably be filled in. We will have some visual reference from it. Every hole George left will be filled. That is the Disney promise. And yeah, will it be better for audiences in the big picture or not? I don't know. I'm okay with it for the most part, as long as they don't get like overly contrarian, which is what Lucas would do. I'm gonna subvert your expectations. Oh, you thought it was the Clone Wars? Oh no, they weren't clones at all. Well, actually, kind of did that with the Clone Wars. For years, we were all like, "Oh, clones are cloning people. They're cloning politicians." Like all of like the dominant theories were like, "Yeah, like the Emperor probably like is like a clone of like this guy," and everybody was about that. And then it was all in the 1970s. Is it subverted if it was in the 1977 poster book? I don't know. Yeah, you still say so? Okay. Star Wars makes says, I think so too. So I think she agrees. But they need to stop steamrolling printed media. Well, so our buddy Ahsoka's was hearing like fragments at one time of some of that shit and was like, oh man, it sounds like they're like retconning all of this. But then it turned out that wasn't the case. And I don't know if they've actually like, there's been too many things where it's been like, oh, that's completely erased or like that just can't happen now. But here's the one that I am waiting for, that I'm the most kind of like, about, is K2SO. He's not on the show. Oh, is he a fish or a thief? But K2SO is going to be in the second season of Andor. K2SO's backstory was told in a comic book around the time of Rogue One. So are they going to remake that? Are they going to retell it? Or are they going to completely just come up with some creative solution? You know, I mean, because he's like a droid. So it's like they might be able to make it like it was a, you know, the hack in the software is an ongoing thing or something. I don't know. But I'm curious to see how this goes. Hey, Leah Rose, how are you? How's it going? But so yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if the printed material has been steamrolled exactly, but if you have like an example of that really offended you, let me know because I'm curious. I do feel bad for anybody who goes buys something with their cash, being told this is canon and it matters, and then they're like, well, you know, it turns out J.J. Abrams thinks your ideas suck. Which I get it though. And that's why Rob would say, if he could talk, That's why it shouldn't be canon. Then you don't have to fucking worry about it. Roland says, I like seeing bits and pieces animated, but not completely changed. Yeah, but what is the line, Roland? Where does your assumption fall about how that played out? And let's say Dave Filoni, who might direct the episode, because what you might have is two competing assumptions based off of frivolous lines, at times. Like, I don't know, Rob is really mad at Solo about the Kessel Run. To me, the Kessel Run never really meant anything. And then so when it didn't mean anything in the movie, I just felt like, well, they didn't make that mean anything. And I just don't care. I just don't care about the Kessel Run. At the end of the day, Kessel Run, kind of stupid to me. Just kind of don't care. I like the movie. I just didn't think it was the sequence was as rad as maybe it could have been. It wasn't a pod race, right? But today's episode is brought to you by Solo. It's a DVD. We're like, okay. Neil says, I thought the prequels did a disservice to the Jedi Council. They did nothing other than die. But Neil, did they do a disservice to something that never existed before the prequels existed? I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. There was no Jedi Council. We were like, that was a news story in 97. Guys, there's a Jedi Council, 12 people. They sit around in a circle. And so, it's funny, right? I mean, it's like, I don't know, maybe I'm picking on you, Neil. So I apologize, but thank you for being a channel member. I hope you don't cancel your subscription after I totally fucking just shit on you for the next 45 minutes. But, and if you like that, you could super chat me, my usual shitting on fee. That said, I thought the prequels did a disservice to Jedi Council. Well, like I said, they didn't exist before. It was designed to be flawed, though, in the prequels. That was sort of the point of the prequels, is that they are a flawed concept. They don't really do a huge service to our humanity. And that's what I like about what George did, though, was I think he created a social structure in the prequels, either on purpose or an accident, depending on how much you respect him. I'll let you take your stance on that, wherever you want. But it's like Jedi can't have attachments, because in reality, if you were a god and you were attached to people and things, that would lead you down a passionate route. That'd make you Satan, right? That would lead you towards the dark side. So to be but like I always say, if Batman, who's the best superhero in the world, is Batman, right? He fucks up. The only time he fucks up is when he's like, man, I love that Robin. Boy, can he suck dick. And then the next thing you know, Robin's dead. He's making all kinds of mistakes because he's like attached to Robin. Spider-Man doesn't have Mary Jane. J. Jonah Jameson ain't getting that picture of him. You know why? Because he's going to do it right. No, but so anyways, point being is that he created a structure where it doesn't necessarily play to the best parts of humanity, and it wants you to be transcendent. But what happens when you have a religious order full of Buddhas, but not everybody has transcended it yet? You get Anakins. Pretty much every generation, I'm going to say, that somebody's going to come and fuck everything up. And that's good for ongoing storytelling, set in a space called Space Wars, a show called Space Wars. It works there, but it doesn't work in reality. But with there being different eras being told, maybe we will see like the Jedi Council when they are effective. I haven't read all of the High Republic books and stuff like that. I think I might go and revisit all of the novels, not the kids' books. Those just weren't working for me because it was too much like, oh boy, I hope I make it, kind of stuff. I was a bit bored. I think those books are probably really great for sixth graders, though. They're just not for me. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was in sixth grade and that's what I got to read during reading time, I'd be like, oh, fuck yeah. And that's what those books are for. So I'm thinking about revisiting the High Republic books now that there's a bunch of them, seeing if I could get connected when there's a bunch, and then just to know what's going on exactly. But for the most part, I haven't. I don't know how they handle the Jedi Council in there. If anybody knows in the chat, though, let me know. Is the Jedi Council cooler in the High Republic stuff? Have they really dealt with it in a big way, or has it been kind of off in the periphery yet? Robert St. Clair, channel member, astrophysicist, gerbil farmer, says, it depends when your holes get filled. If you get them filled and as you go, like along the way as a younger viewer, it will be no big deal. The older crowd gets more out of shape, I feel. Yeah, because it's all storied assumptions, right? I mean, look at Kenobi. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master, said Darth Vader to Obi-Wan Kenobi. And then everyone's like, oh, but that was in the Revenge of the Sith, you guys. And it's like, well, just because the marketing told you that in 2005 when it was supposed to be like the last thing they ever made. And then they kept making it because they're always going to keep making it. And so if something isn't very firmly planted, if it doesn't say 32 BBY when we fought on the mountain with the fire and I cut off your legs because I had the high ground the day that Padme died, if it doesn't get very specific, boy, are you living in a world of assumptions with Star Wars, because they will extrapolate and fill your holes. Roland says, only time they did something for the most part was the Geonosian Arena and Order 66. Oh, you're talking about like them being like proactive, like Jedi Council being proactive. Yeah, I mean, when you got thousands of Jedi, though, I don't know if you send the council out. You know, it'd be kind of like sending politicians in a way out to and teachers out to deal with like military skirmishes. I think you're going to send your like younger Jedi who are capable of dealing with that stuff more than Mace Windu, who's like 70. Hey, Leia, how's it going? How are you? Not Luisk says they should stay faithful to the print version. That was the promise at the start of the new canon. You're not wrong. That was the promise, though. No, they did promise it, Rob. I mean, whether they will or not, but they did promise it. But you know what? Sometimes promises are meant to be broken. Yeah. That's what Pablo Hidalgo said. And then he went like this. No, okay, that didn't happen. The first episode of Bad Batch completely steamrolled Kanan's Order 66 story, which was actually pretty impactful in the comics. Okay, so when I remember that, though, and I'm working from memory here, if I remember right, I actually recently set up my Marvel comic book collection for my son to like read because he's getting into comics. I'm gonna look at that and watch that first episode. I remember the lightsaber colors were like wrong. Okay, but Saw Gerrera's eyes are wrong too. Color. So watch Star Wars in black and white. That's our takeaway. If you watch Star Wars in black and white, it's totally canon. And also you could be a hipster, like I'm gonna watch Star Wars in black and white. And then the other thing is where it gets kind of like expanded upon, or was it expanded upon? Like, could you place the panels of the Bad Batch events into that comic book and it still be canon? Because if that's the case, I don't know if they steamrolled it, but I get where you're coming from, though. I completely do. Like, you feel like you're getting the definitive story when you buy the comic book of those events, and then you don't, But I would also say they should go into those comic books and fucking change the lightsaber colors. How hard is it? You know what I mean? And then when they do future prints, fix it. If you're gonna change stuff, you're gonna treat it like it's the Constitution, aka a living document, then you got to fix it. Amendments. Call it the First Amendment to that issue. King Chris says, "What the heck is up, you all?" King Chris, the sky, motherfucker. Obviously, I understand that on screen content gets way more eyeballs, but it's sad that you pay money for the printed stuff and then it gets trampled. Yeah, I know. I mean, but at the same time, if it wasn't canon, it would cost the same price, right? So, I mean, on one hand, I just don't believe them. That's what I say. So a lot of reason to not believe them. Like, oh, we didn't use the volume when they did. Roland says, touche, Jason. That's a good question. I guess it's not so much dialogue, but more importantly, specific events that were pivotal in the novel. Then again, Clone Wars Season 7 did Maul versus Ahsoka so much better. Okay. Yeah. Do you think Disney will ever release Star Wars films straight to Disney Plus, like a Mando Universe film with Ahsoka? I in a well, here's what I think, like how that would go. It ultimately no, but like look at Kenobi. Kenobi was a film converted into a series. At the end of the day, probably would have been more successful as an edited together film. It was separated into 6 parts twice, from what I understand. And so it was never like the film was just turned into how do I say this? It was a film, then it was moved into 6 parts in that story, and then it was revised. Okay. People act like you can edit it together and get what the film would have been. Not really. But I still think that looking at the scope of Kenobi, they should have just made it a very small Star Wars film. But being on a subscriber-based system, it would always be more lucrative to cut it into 6 parts and to keep it rolling, to keep it a week by week thing where people feel like they need to keep their subscription going and stuff like that. So I kind of doubt it, but they are doing, if it ever comes out, is that a droid story is what it's going to come out. They were working on it at Pinewood. But it's using the VR tech, and that one I believe is a movie. So I think if that show ends up getting like really solid numbers, I don't know what the budget was, but we could, if that show gets the solid numbers, whatever the budget for that is, we could see stuff like that happening. And that would ultimately be where somebody like Dave Filoni could come in and do sort of like an actual anthology series of short films. When I say short films, I mean like around an hour, to an hour and a half, not like, your 2.5 to 3 hour movies or anything like that. And like Tales of the Jedi, that would have been a great place to do something like that in live action. But I'm okay with that existing in animation too, because a lot of the times some stories actually perform better in the animated format. Like, I would not be mad about seeing Yaddle in live action, but like Yaddle's probably gonna play better in the animated show than she is in live action. There's a lot that could go wrong with executing the execution of Yaddle in live action compared to in a cartoon. So Jedi Chris says the Jedi Council had to be shown the way they were in the prequels. They had to become blinded by their own dogma, blinded to what they had become, pawns and soldiers of the Republic. So if we wanted to fairly critique that, though, based off of the comments today, the thing that they could have done, or that Lucas could have done, was shown the council actually working correctly in the first film. And then after Palpatine being president for 10 years, we got to Attack of the Clones, and then we start to see where they're falling apart. So I think he wanted to kind of show like the cracks in the system a little bit, which is what he was doing with Qui-Gon, though, because Qui-Gon's supposed to be like this maverick. And if there's one thing that old rich white guys like to think, is that they're mavericks. So when they make stories, they like to make stories about mavericks like Qui-Gon Jinn. And but that's but I still feel like I got it. I saw it. I'm like, I know how this is supposed to work. It didn't really ruin it for me, or anything like that. Carl says Grandmasters Yoda, Lahu, and Pre-Tree better. I don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds fun. Roland says, I haven't read The High Republic, but I think I'd be interested in a movie or a show. Well, you are going to get that with Acolyte. when Acolyte hits, it's going to be a High Republic show, and it's going to be about the dark side of the Force. And so will that be the thing that makes it like this? Is that what makes it feel like it doesn't count to you, Rob? That it's like a villager, and then to the dark side, and it's all removed from sort of the hubbub of the city? Maybe. We do have this character named Paul, and Paul is Sith Lord. We thought he might be Plagueis, but Ahsoka just said a few hours ago, Paul's not Plagueis. Paul is human and has white hair. And no, he's not the canon version of Plagueis either. Nonetheless, I do have reason to believe that Plagueis is involved with the project in some way. Also, Paul is just a code name, likely not his real name. His real name is Paul Jones. Anyways, yeah, he has white hair. Does that mean he's the guy in the tank in the video game called Star Wars Jedi Knight Fallen Order Part 2 Jedi Survivor? Obviously, they're bringing him back, resurrecting him. Yeah, and then, you know, talks about how Malachor is like a pyramid with red glow. Just making sure I didn't miss anything. But yeah, so we'll see. King Chris says that was part of the reason for their downfall. Yeah, I mean the real, like, I think the real concept of their downfall is when they get too intertwined with the state. I think Lucas is talking a little bit about the separation of church and state there. You know, you want your spiritual and the state completely removed, because one will trample the other in a bad way eventually. So got to keep those things separated, like the offspring says, like the prophet, the offspring. Neil Mohammed says, I pay $5 a month for you to disagree with me. I want to talk to the management. Oh, that's Karen Mohammed now. That's Karen Neil, the Star Wars Karen Mohammed. So, yeah. KG says there's a reason I prefer live action. Spoilers, it's the boobs. KG likes the boobs. Salvador says, Yoda said, always two there are, no more, no less, a master and an apprentice. Who is the second Sith in Tross, a secret apprentice? I'm going to say that there isn't one. I think it was going to be Rey or Kylo, but I don't think he gets there. And could that be a loophole to say the Sith still exist, that there was actually an apprentice? Could they do something like that down the road? Well, probably. It's probably totally open to that possibility, just to keep it going. But I think like I said, the idea was that he was, for starters, I think Palpatine during a lot of this time is too weak to take an apprentice, because if he took an apprentice, they're just going to beat the shit out of him and he's not going to be able to stop it. So I think you'd have like actual, like, just reasons to say that there wasn't one and he didn't take one, because you know, so this is like an extended period where there's only one as he's waiting to become resurrected and rejuvenated. Then he would take his next one. But also, you could also go and say that it with having immortality, maybe that would end the rule of two. Because if you're going to live forever, what the fuck do you care about there being a future of the Sith and the next generation of them? So I think that there's a lot of like logical avenues that you could that they could take it. So, but I believe, based off of nothing, that his plan was to get Rey and Kylo together, suck their Sith blood, rejuvenate himself with them dead, and then go on. And then if you want to make it about a family stuff, he would have made Rey his apprentice if she lived. But I don't think he gave a shit about anything or anyone. He didn't care about his son. So why would he care about his granddaughter, other than the fact that she's powerful? But also by being powerful, she becomes a threat to him. So, you know, that's just my reading. But I think that story-wise, you ask a good question that can completely lead to other things should they need it. When they do episode 10, if they should need it, there you go. Also, when you have a whole planet full of Sith cultists, I think it's safe to say it's a full planet of them. That would mean millions of Sith cultists could exist. Some of them might have been on vacation, so they're probably around carrying around the ideas, you know. And then the other thing is when you watch the movie, like those Snokes are in those tanks, they get like imploded, but it's not like the planet doesn't like explode; it like implodes, right? Maybe somebody's gonna dig them up, you know, just down the road. I'm just saying. Make Shadow of the Sith into a live action show, or we riot, Lucasfilm, says Arya. Arya, we don't riot. This is not the January 6th of Star Wars shows. Okay? We don't do it that way, Arya. we send angry tweets. No. Yeah. I mean, that's after I read that book, I started really wanting there to be like a live action anthology of snapshots. Star Wars snapshot. The little guy with the camera goes. But I mean, because there are moments in there that you could literally do as live action shorts that would retell moments from that book without having to retell the whole. I don't think the whole book would work as a series or an interesting one. There's a lot of like stuff that you're just like, nah, you know, like I love a lot of Catalyst, right? There's a lot of shit in Catalyst I don't think would translate to screen well because it was designed to be a novel. But there's also moments in Catalyst that I would love to see in live action. The moments between Krennic and Galen, about a little bit like the moment where Galen is saved by Krennic after his like trial, you know, and saved from the planet, like where he was going to be executed. And then because in those moments you see why he feels indebted to him, why he kind of plays into Krennic's plans for a time. And like, so stuff like that, along with like Luke Skywalker going to astral projecting to Exegol and fighting, and then Anakin Skywalker showing up and shit like that, it would be like these moments that, well, whoa, that happened, and it fills in something, but it doesn't necessarily require a whole story. That would be fun. And it would make those books, I think it would be a great advertisement for those books, you know, if they did something like that. But it would ultimately be disjointed, and then I said anthology based series. I'm a big fan of it, but you know, a lot of people don't understand anthology shows for some reason. Star Wars Santa says, technically, would Lego Star Wars kind of straight to Disney Plus movies? If we did that, like I said, then we would have to count a droid story. You know, they are, but they're not. That's not what people mean. They mean Episode 10. They mean Solo, a Star Wars story. You know, that's. But no, and the Lego movies, though, as much as fun as those Star Wars projects are, as just one-off, you know, filler fun stuff, they don't like compared to like the Lego Star Wars or the Lego Batman movie, for instance, or the Lego movie. It's just not like the same level. Roland says, I'm definitely hyped for more Qui-Gon and Dooku. Just hope it's a great story. Well, Roland, did you hear all of the spoilers? If you like spoilers, that Ahsoka's dude gave out a bunch of them. We covered them on the show a few days ago, and it does sound like it's the whole backstory of Dooku and Mace Windu and their competition and stuff, and it sounds cool. It sounds like really, really good planning. And I kind of wouldn't be surprised if George Lucas and Filoni had conversations about the stuff that led to it, because some of that stuff does sound a little like George at times, little baby bits. But this Republic is so high, man. It's true. Tyrant Paul, 4 letters. Bane, 4 letters. Tune in to Mike Zero. Yeah, I always like when people get like real crazy, like with the code, when it's like completely obvious with stuff. A lot of the times. KG, is Lego Star Wars canon? No, it's not. Not even a little baby bit. Carl says those 3 Grandmasters are the ones in the High Republic. The Jedi had 3 at once. Three Grandmasters? Oh my God, this is getting crazy. The power. Oh boy, unlimited power. Robert says Sheev's got Plagueis' body in an ice cooler outside the Senate building. $125 a bag. Yeah. I did like those scenes in the Plagueis book where I talked about this before, but they have like this guy and like, he's dead, and then Plagueis like resurrects him, and then they kill him, and they just keep bringing him back to life. But every time they bring him back to life, he's a little bit more nuts. It was fun. I wouldn't mind seeing that on screen. Nolan says, happy Monday, gang. Just jumped in. Did I miss the Ahsoka pics? Yeah, you did, Nolan, but honestly, you didn't miss much. I don't want to, like, you know, here, I'll play them really quickly for you. It's a bunch of trees, man. You know, at the end of the day, it's just trees. Just saying that that forest from the Ahsoka episode of The Mandalorian is probably back in the Ahsoka series. And so just it is what it is. Not I don't want to overhype it. Didn't Bane not have an apprentice for a while until he found Xana? I think that was part of the story for a time.
What are you doing?
I'm doing a show. What are you doing?
Nothing. Mom's gonna come get us an hour.
All right. Hey Penny, you want to talk about Star Wars with us? You want, no, but you want ice cream. That is the weirdest answer to that question ever. You know, after our adventure last night, there is no ice cream left in this world. All right, Mandalorian Legion says, if Disney does an animated Maul show, what do you want them to start with the Maul comics? Well, the world's greatest leaker keeps saying that there's a Maul show coming. So, would you want a Maul show? Would you want them to start with the Maul comics and lead to Maul, where Maul is after season 7 of the Clone Wars? I am pretty mauled out right now, to be honest with you. I feel like they have taken that character and done too much with him. I am at the point for myself of enough Maul. I don't want to go to the mall anymore. You know, they've done it. And I don't think he's a character where you can identify with them and become empathetic with them too much. You could go, oh man, that's messed up. Like you could have those moments with them, but I just don't see him as being a leading character. I see him as always being something, you know. I loved what they did with the Clone Wars and Maul, and then I liked a lot of what they did with them in Rebels, and then you know they make him the master of the criminal underworld, and I'm like, okay, you know, I'm pretty good with my Maul personally. So if they do anything else with Maul, I hope it's something completely, I don't know. Have Plagueis come and resurrect him and make him a weirdo zombie or something, but I'm pretty good. Roland says, been keeping up on all the rumors and leaks. I watch you guys make, etc. Loving these leaks so far. I'm getting hype for all this content. Yeah, me too. I like the next year of Star Wars shows that are coming. I like the I don't know, the difference in tones that we're going to have. Like that's kind of what's important to me. Like I would really hate if we had Mandalorian and Boba Fett, for instance. Oh, by the way, there was another Boba Fett thing I saw on the Meg show, and but I'm not sold on the concept. So the guy who is Tamara Morrison's stunt double is coming back for a Star Wars project, and he's doing a Robert Rodriguez thing right now. And he's like, yeah, the stunt double. And he's like, we're doing this. I think maybe in Texas, he might have said. I forgot to pull the story. But then he goes on to say, like, so after we do this thing, I'm going back and I'm going to start that. So it is something that makes that it's like definitely food for thought. Like, it could be. And it does almost sound like Robert Rodriguez is involved in a Star Wars thing with him again. But it's really inconclusive stuff. And he's a stunt double on Star Wars projects in Southern California. So he could literally be any role. It could be for anything. If you go and look up the stand-ins and stunt doubles, Cassian Andor's stand-in is Luke Skywalker's stand-in. Like it's they reuse the same people. They use, you know, and stuff like that. So I'm not completely like, but it is maybe one of the first pieces of evidence where we're like, well, let's put that under the pillow and see what happens. So, hey, Quentin, how's it going, dude? How are you? Quentin says the green screen flutter looks like his hair is blowing in the wind. Yeah, it is. You know, you're very Cobb Vanth hair today too, by the way. I gotta say, isn't that some Cobb Vanth if I've ever seen some. When you go to your barber, do you go, well, what do you need today, Rob? Give me the Vanth. Extra Cobb. No? Yeah. All right. Roland says, maybe in a few years, bring back Maul. Very tragic character. Very interesting backstory in the comics. I would, one thing with Maul I think would be kind of cool to get is in Tales of the Jedi, if they did a second season, would be to get how Palpatine steals him from Mother Talzin. You know what I mean? Because that was her baby. That's her baby boy. And then Palpatine takes him, and that could be kind of fun. Salvador says George Lucas's original ideas for episodes 10 through 12, Mysteries of the Force, Criminal Syndicates, Chaos, Building a New World, Talon as villain, Nella Skywalker, Luke's daughter. Yeah. 1 hour. Oh, right now she's coming? Mom's coming right now to get you? Oh, I was going to take you out for ice cream. Oh, man. I guess I can't now. I'll take you out for ice cream when you come back. That's a deal. George Lucas. Oh, Penny, do you believe that George Lucas's ideas were actually anything at all? I mean, for episode 10 through 12, you think he had anything? No. Penny says no. I say no too. I think he had a bunch of like, well, if this existed, then that would make for trouble. So I think he had like things that would ignite plots, but I don't think he really had a plot. So personally, don't really buy it. I mean, well, that was through 7 through 9. And then when it comes down to the 10 through 12 concept, I believe there was a video called Star Wars is Forever given out to Kenner shareholders around 1979. And it promised 12 Star Wars movies. I think that was simply to get you to invest. And then I think that they would say 12 movies for a while to make that. Now, do I believe there will be episode 12 someday? I do. I think that they will for sure. Why wouldn't they? Rick clarifies Spy Kids is filming the series in Austin, Texas. Yeah, Spy Kids. So there you have that, if you believe it. Darth Dennis says, I don't want any more animated Maul. It's wasteful when we haven't gotten much live action from him. It's true. Part of me wonders, I'm not inferring that there's any kind of like, rules like, oh, you can't do it. But I do wonder if they have not wanted to take him into the series in a big way because he's scary boy. King Chris says, I'm doing quite well, honest. How about you? I'm talking to Quentin. So look at these guys living their own life in the chat. It's like this whole, give me the cob, hold the corn. That's what I always say. Yes. Roland's talking to Darth Dennis, right? So here's the fucking skinny on that. Roland's like, yeah, I'd rather a male backstory show about Clone Wars. But he said male, but he means Maul. And right here, they're going to get their wires crossed. At the end of the day, it's going to end up with them at the Regal Beagle having drinks, and it was all a big misunderstanding. Have Sam Witwer play him in live action. So Ray Park did some ecstasy and showed his dick. So fucking what? I mean, come on. Who hasn't? Though I love Ray Park. Yeah, I say just get Ray Park back. I mean, I don't know. I mean, so Ray Park showed his dick on Instagram. McGregor showing his dick in movies. A lot more people saw that than the Instagram thing. Johannes says they really need to make a series about Luke Jedi Academy. I gotta say, Johannes, I fucking hate when it's called the Jedi Academy. I don't know, man. It's like, and I'm picking on you, but it's not your fault. Like a book series called it that for years, but it's not a fucking academy. Like, oh, like make it sound like it's fucking Hogwarts or something. Like a little British school for Luke Skywalker kids. And it's like, oh, well, I went to the academy and now I'm out. It's like they make Jedi temples. They're religious weirdos. Treat them as such. What's that, Penny? Your mom said she's driving with focus turned on. I'll see your message when I get where I'm going. It's an automatic message because she doesn't text while she drives. Okay? So just wait. She's on her way. That means she's on the road to get you. Okay. Sorry, guys. But school starts this week, and these impromptu visits will end. All right. I know you're telling me. I can't wait. Yeah. I mean, it's been fun, but I can't wait. Roland says, Sam for young Maul, Park for old Maul. I would just love them both so much as actors. I feel like if you are going to do Maul, Sam Witwer's a great voice. I don't know if he knows martial arts, but I think you should get a martial artist. I think with as much as, you know, as we've had from that kind of stuff, you should have a martial artist. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. So, Mandalorian Legion says, did you hear of the behind the scenes for the names on the wall in Kenobi? Because one of the names is Rom Koda from The Force Unleashed, which gives me high hopes for the future. Yeah, that's like, well, it's two things about that though. Is it means that Koda is technically does exist in canon now, but everything's going to be reconfigured. Like look at what was the little guy from the expanded universe that's in it, who goes to Luke's Jedi Academy, but look at his story where it's going. That's not necessarily like the original story. So, you know, it goes both ways. You know what I mean? Like you could be happy that thing. Yeah. You could be happy that things might come or might be involved, but at the same time, it means it's going to change. So if you don't like change, then you're not going to like it. So did Rob take a vow of silence? No. What are you talking about? He's been talking the whole time. Daniel says, the decades-old page of notes that was published with the 12-episode plan had 3 standalone films in between 3 trilogies. Yeah, and it was shit like a Wookiee anthropological documentary, you know. But it was literally like George Lucas like taking a shit going Wookiee movie. It wasn't like there was no structure, there was no plot, it was nothing. I mean, it's literally just like somebody live tweeting, wouldn't it be cool if they made a Ram Koda movie? And then like it's like the equivalent of that. That's why, you know, it's 5 words that he wrote in there. I'm not picking on you, Daniel, but it's like 5 words he wrote on a yellow tablet. It's not, you know, 20,000 words of, you know, story treatment or something of significance. It's just not. So that's the thing about all of that Lucas stuff. Oh, and by the way, when they re-release Lucas's notes on some of these books, they spell check it. They go and they Photoshop the words and correct it. I don't agree with it. Roland says, could DH Ray Park too? His martial arts are awesome. So I do definitely agree. We need a great martial arts artist to play him. Yeah, I mean, that would be better. But at the same time, too, they could just take the concepts and tropes that Lucas invented with these kind of characters and start to take that further as well to give us new characters and stuff that, you know, get a martial artist to play a new scary bad guy. That'd be fun. I would be okay with that. Bray Park should always be the live action Maul body. Peter Serafinowicz as Pre-Slice Maul, voice SM Witwer as his voice after it. I say they just get Peter Serafinowicz's voice out and just have Witwer redo it in The Phantom Menace. Serafinowicz didn't really fucking appreciate it, didn't care about it, seemed to think it was shit. And so why not just throw it out and make it all streamlined? That's what I say. But the voice is pretty good that he does though. So if it stays, I don't really care. I don't really mind either way. But yeah, just titles. But anyways, all right, guys, we're gonna call it a show today. If any more news breaks, I will jump on and get down to it. But I'm gonna help get these kids out of my freaking house, and then and you know what I always say to you guys.
Get the fuck out of my house.
I'll see you guys. Not them, you guys. But I'll see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If any news breaks, I'll jump back on. I'll invite Rob, that fucking chatterbox. And we'll see you guys then. And thanks for everybody for liking the video. And leave a comment if you haven't already. There's 66 of you. So give us 66 likes. Or let's order 66 this bitch. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, Rob.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
it's not about spaceships.